Hi everyone, welcome to our first online session for the structural design drafting. In this group of exercises, we'll be looking at a design for a structural steel frame for a warehouse, 96 meters long, 30 meters wide, and made of multiple bays. Each space here, each one of these rectangles, we call it as a bay, which is the space between two frames. Each one of these lines representing location of one of these frames. I'm looking obviously at the floor plan for the warehouse at this view. So what we be working on is the warehouse made of multiple frames spaced at 6,400 millimeters or 6 meters point 4, the spacing between the frames. The spacing between the center line of the columns supporting these frames and the center line of the warehouse is 13.950 for the short direction. So we have the spacing between the center line of the warehouse and the center line of these columns is 13 meters and 950 millimeters. Okay, so what we've got on the west side of the warehouse, this is the west side, the west wall. I can see it from the elevation here. We have two doors. Each one is 6 meters wide by 6 meters high. And we have two doors on the west side. The same thing we have on the east side. We have two doors 4 meters by 4 meters instead. We can see those on the two short elevations. Now, just to simplify our work, in fact not to simplify it, just to minimize the amount of the repetitive work we have to do, we're not going to draw all these 15 bays we have here. We're not going to draw them all. We will choose to draw maybe 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to grid line G. Okay, so that will represent all the components that we may have in a steel frame, structural steel frame for a warehouse or a portal frame, and that will give us a good example for all the connection details that we need to learn in this exercise. So in other words, the modified version of this will look something like that. Just exactly the same thing. I just moved that east wall to be on the grid line G. The elevations, the two side elevation will look like this, the long elevations, and the two short elevations for the short walls will look exactly the same. So if I look at the short elevation, we have the eave line at 10 meter and 200 millimeters high from the floor level. And we have the apex line, which is the ridge line or the ridge point at 11.6 meters from the floor level. That will give us enough information. These are the architectural layouts, usually are prepared by the architect for us, and this will give us enough information to start our design. So if I just go to Revit, we'll go to new. We need to choose a structural template. Now, because all of you maybe installed the student version of Revit, that will take you to the American imperial units, which is, in other words, the length will be represented in inches and feet. That's not what we use here in Australia. We use millimeters and meters, so that's why it's not a good idea to start with structure template from here. Let's browse and go to, instead of the US imperial units, let's go to the metric units and let's choose the structural analysis metric units. So I click on that, we'll go OK. Now, it's the first thing as usual we do, we check the units, make sure everything is right. So I've got the length, millimeter, area, meter square, all of those that look right to me, everything in millimeters and meters. If I go to the structural units, the same thing all looks okay in here, kilonewton and meters mainly for most of the units. Where we see centimeters, we don't usually use centimeters here in Australia, so we're going to change it to millimeters. Centimeters cubed, we don't have that, so I don't have millimeters cubed, we choose cubic meters. But if we have the option for millimeters, that's what we'll be using. So for example here, we change all of those to millimeters simply. and that's it. So the main thing, we don't use any centimeters as units here in Australia. We use millimeters or meters. It's not wrong to keep it, but just to keep consistency with everything we do. If you're trying to find a section size from a table, if you find a measurement from architectural layouts, these are the common units that we use here in Australia, millimeters and meters. I'll press OK. Maybe it's just to save you time for the future, you can save this as a template for you. So I save it as AU template. Okay, so I can close now, and if I start new and browse for the templates, I can go to here and choose the Australian template and press OK. Now, we start by the first thing, let's save our file. So I save as a project, let's call it warehouse, save obviously on your OneDrive to make sure you keep this file for the future. Structure drafting, and we'll call it tutorial 1. Okay. Going back to our warehouse, so we've got the warehouse length. It doesn't matter because I've got the spacing of all the pays, so I'll use that instead, and the width is about 30 meters, and mainly the center line of the two edge or side columns is about 13,950 from the center line of the warehouse. So going back here, as we agreed, the first thing and the most important thing in your project, to start with drawing a grid, you have to make guidelines for your design. So we're starting with our grids, and the first grid, if I start drawing from left to right, the bubble will end up on the right hand side, and that's not what we want. We want the bubble to be on the left hand side for the grid lines, if we remember. So I'll start drawing from right to left. I'll draw the first grid line here, and that will make the bubble go in the right place, because we want the annotation for these grid lines to be on the left hand side and the top side for the vertical grid lines. So this is my first grid line. The second grid line will be, if you look at our design, will be 13,950 from grid number 1. So I can just draw another one here, and I'll offset it 13,950. All I have to do, just hover over this grid line from the bottom, because if I hover over it from the top, that will draw a grid line to the top. As you can see, the dashed line there at the top, but we want it to be drawn to the bottom or underneath. So I'll just click here, and that will make it 13,950. Another one there. As you can see, the grid lines already numbered with the right sequence. Now we need to draw the vertical grid line. I'll draw the first grid line as we agreed, from bottom to top. That will end up the bubble being on the top of the drawings. So that's my first grid line here. Press escape twice to exit the grid function. That's taking the annotation of number 4. That's not what we want. We want it to be A. That's the vertical grids. Would be letter annotated. So that would be A as our first grid line. Now I'll draw my new grid lines. I can offset an existing by 6,400, and all I have to do is just hover over it, and that will start drawing grid line B, C, D, E, F. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need another one, and that's G, grid line G. Okay, escape twice. So as you can see, we need to rearrange the camera location for all the views. So if I need to move this camera location, we discussed during the class the difference between selecting right to left or left to right. So if I select left to right, that will select the items. They are totally selected, they are completely selected. But if I select right to left, any item will be crossed with my selection. That will be selected. That's not what we want. We want just to move the camera only without moving the grid line. So I'll select left to right, choose move, and move it somewhere here. If I need to rearrange or organize my grid lines, all I have to do, because all the grid lines now are grouped together, if I click on it, it's all locked together as a group. So if I move one grid line from here, that will move all the other grid lines, and the same thing goes here for the vertical grid lines. So we have our grid line for the plan view of the warehouse. It's done, so I'll just double check the measurements if you want to. I'll change my scale to 1 to 200 so I can see the numbers clearer, that's all. So I can just look at those. They're all 6,400 away from each other, and these grid lines 13,950 from each other. Perfect, that's what we want. So I can delete these measurements now, don't need them. Okay, now looking at the project browser here, we've got the analytical plan views. We don't need them, so I'll select them. I selected the first one, control select the second one, we'll select them both and just press delete. We don't need them. So we have level 1, level 2 and site view. Level 1 looks at the structure we're going to draw at the 0 elevation. Level 2 will look at the structure at a given elevation. Side view will look at all levels at the same time. Now we've got the 4 elevations, so let's go ahead to each one of those and make sure everything is looking organized to start with. Mainly, so we've got the levels here. All the levels will be roughly the same because we organized one of the levels that will fix them all. But if I go to the elevations to start with, looking at this elevation, now I went to the east or west elevation, which is the short elevation. So we can see the grid lines are a bit too long, the horizontal grid lines, which is showing the levels for our design. We can just rearrange those. We have to fix our levels. So if I go back to my design, we have 3 levels. We've got the floor level, FL, and we have the eave line at 10 meters and 200 millimeters, and we've got the apex at 11 meters and 600 millimeters. So let's reflect those on our drawing. So level 2 will be the eave line. So level 1 will be the floor level 0. Level 2 will be at 10 to 100, and I need to create another level at 11,600. The same what we've done for grids we can do for levels. So I'll just click on levels. So just all I had to do from the architecture or from the structure, you can choose levels, and this level here will ask you where do you want to draw a level. I can draw the level here and then rearrange it, but easier I can just copy or offset one of the existing levels. I'll offset the floor level by 11,600, and that will create a plan view at that level straight away. So we'll rearrange our grid lines to reflect the right views. We can rename our levels, so we'll call this FL, floor level. And that's showing here that the plan view for that level will be changed corresponding to this new name. Say yes, no worries. Level 2, we're going to change it to eave line, and apex for the last level at the top. Done. Just go check our east elevation, looks the same. Just rearrange and organize my grid lines. It's easier to look at those in scale 1 to 50. The annotation will be proportioned in a better way so you can see it all. Let's go to the north elevation now, north and south elevation. So all what we have to do is just stretch the grid lines to be in the right position, rearrange those, change my scale to 1 to 50. Okay. I think everything is looking good now. So we've got our levels renamed, we have the elevations all organized, and we change them all to 1 to 50. All good. So we can save our file. Right, we've got our file saved, guys. Now this will conclude our first video. In the next video we start drawing the structural components for the warehouse.